Good evening and Happy New Year from the Wallace Civic Center here in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. It is hockey night in Fitchburg here on FATV. I'm John Gugerty, joined as always by Dan Bolak. And Dan, tonight we have Fitchburg State University hockey for you here on Hockey Night in Fitchburg. The Falcons come in with a record 5-5-2 overall, 3-2-2 in the MASCAC, but they have lost their last 3 consecutive games.
It's been a tough start to the second part of the year, if you will, for Fitchburg State. Started with 2 losses at the Codfish Bowl, 4-1 to UMass Boston, 6-0 to Tufts, and then they started conference play again. The second cycle beginning with a trip up to Holderness in New Hampshire to take on the Panthers of Plymouth State, a 7-4 loss for the Falcons, 6-4 plus an empty netter, but a really valiant effort against a very strong Plymouth State team, and they were playing shorthanded in that one. You're allowed to dress up to 19 skaters. The Falcons had just 15 at their disposal 2 nights ago.
Depth has been an issue for Fitchburg State, and I understand that is still going to be the case tonight.
Yes, illness and injuries ravaging the team right now. They're getting down with the sickness in the worst possible way, and so only about the same number of skaters dressed tonight. A couple of forwards by trade having to dress on defense. Those are the challenges the Falcons have to deal with to start this contest. Falcons will be in the home white uniforms with green helmets and trim and numbers going left to right. Salem in the road orange uniforms with blue numbers and helmets and white trim. They'll go right to left in this first period of play. Salem controlling on the right side in the attacking zone. Falcons able to pull it out against from the boards. Reese Bergman pulling up. Hunter Forden with a shot kick save by the goaltender Aaron Mercer. First shot of the game 25 seconds in is turned aside by the junior keeper for the Vikings.
Mercer was the starter for Salem State in their last game, a 5-3 win over Framingham State. But overall, Dan, as we take a quick look at these Vikings, if Fitchburg State wants to get off this little 3-game schneid, they picked up a pretty good opponent.
They did. Salem start the season in conference play, 6 games, 6 losses in the first cycle. Finally picked up their first conference win against Framingham 2 nights ago, 5-3. Zach Dill, who just had that shot, had a hat trick and an assist. He's been a very solid freshman for the Vikings this year. From Lake Tahoe, California, 7 goals and 8 assists for 15 points. He scored his first goal as a Viking against this Falcon team in the first meeting this year. That was a 7-2 win for the green and gold. The shot, by the way, earlier turned aside by Chris Matteau, making just his second start of the season. He played in the conference opener against Plymouth State all the way back on November the 3rd. Stopped 38 shots, conceded 5 goals, all on the power play, interestingly enough. That one shouldered aside by Matone, picked up on the right side by the Falcons, try to carry it out of the zone, intercepted by the Vikings. They'll keep it in, and it will be Luke Day who will move it along the boards. Falcons will move it around to the far side as the Vikings change personnel. Out to the center zone, Matt Yanakopoulos. Out near side, Christopher Dowd dumps in. Matone will stick that one down and now pull it in. Doesn't like the pressure coming in from the Vikings on the right side and covers for a draw. 18:35 to go, first period, no score.
Yeah, it looked like Matone wanted to keep that puck live, play it behind him to his defenseman, but there was a Viking barreling down on him, so he thought better of it, takes the faceoff to his left side.
Dowd will take the draw for the Vikings. He's a freshman from Danville, New Hampshire. The quick shot going into the right wing corner. They'll try to dig it out. 4 players there. Picked up by the Vikings. Out to the point, Skylar Miller. Tosses left wing corner. Backhand pass through the slot. Nobody there. David Cisak with the pass, but nothing going there. Falcons transition back the other way. Shot pops out of the glove of Mercer. That was off the stick of Samuel Rennick. And now skating up ice, Raf Preisner loses the handle on it. Rennick try to push it out of the zone. Kept in by Yanakopoulos. And the Falcons pushing up with a 2-on-1 perhaps developing. Here's Rennick. Rennick holding. Goes try to get it in front for Brendan Walk. Couldn't get a clean shot away. Good pressure by the Vikings. Skylar Miller, bit of a rough pass there. Cole Archambault was ready to pounce on that one. Vikings just able to stick it away from him. Now Archambault will go off as the Falcons will complete their line change. 17:40 to go, first period, no score. Shots 2-1 in favor of the Falcons. Long stretch pass settled down and dumped in by Peyton Hughes. And Matone will cover. Hughes had the other goal for the Vikings in that game back on November the 10th. Again, that 7-2 win for Fitchburg State, their 5th consecutive victory over the Vikings.
Just a couple minutes gone in this one, Dan. 17:33 to play, first period. Salem State is running into their own guys more often than not. They've had trouble both on the offensive and defensive end. It very nearly burned them on that last exchange.
A bit of discombobulation for the visitors from the North Shore, and then some coming up. As here's Reese Bergman on the far side for the Falcons. Has it dispossessed, put back into the neutral zone. Bouthiette pushed it back in, delayed offsides. Vikings will have a chance to recover and regroup. Luke Pepin on the near side. Pepin will skate it up and dump it in. Gain the red line. Vikings will change a couple legs. Matone settles behind for Jack Saavedra. Now around to the left wing corner. Hunter Forden trying to get around the referee and is able to do so. He'll get it back on the return from Toivo Kramer. Here's Forden. The right circle. Shot kick saved by Mercer. Very juicy rebound. Bergman the closest to it, but a Viking able to get their stick on it first and knock it away. And now up ice. Larson with a shot. That whistles wide to the right. Jeremy Millette trying to knock it along for the Falcons, and Millette has control. The former Leominster Blue Devil into the zone. On the left circle. Shot shouldered away by Mercer. Still on the left side now, Yanakopoulos behind the net. 16:30 to go, first period. No score. Shots now 4-2 in favor of the Falcons. Can't get it out of the zone. Wyatt Wilmshire keeps it in. But his pass goes right to Yanakopoulos. Will knock it out to center, and Hughes will dump in for the Vikings. Gene Bouthiette, one of two converted defensemen for this game because the Falcons are so short-handed. Only 4 healthy defensemen for the green and gold right now. So Bouthiette has got to be one of those players, along with Jack Saavedra, who have to step up and play on the defensive side instead. Definitely a different look, a different bit of adversity the Falcons have to deal with, as they've been bidden with the injury and illness bug. On the left point, Skylar Miller holding, shoots through traffic, gloved down by Matone, thrown out in front of him. Falcons take it on the near half boards and try to get it out of the zone. Wilmshurst trying to poke it past Pepin, and now to the red line. Falcons will dump in from Bouthiette. It'll be gloved by Mercer, nobody challenging, so he's got to drop that one and play on. And the Vikings will do just that.
You can tell Mercer wanted a whistle there, but he had to let it go.
If nobody's actively checking you, you can't cover it. Rennick trying to move it along. Now walk with a touch on, taken by Landon Gredricks. Gredricks holding back in his own zone. Pass off. And the Vikings making their way from Connor Woolley. Woolley dumps in. Jack Johansson gets to it on the right wing corner of his own zone. Dumps it down to center. Eamon Miller with a pass up near side for Gredricks. Gredricks moves it along, gets it back, whiffs on the shot. Puck goes out of the reach of Kyle Waldusky, and it'll be cleared out. Vikings have it back in their own end with a little over 5 minutes gone in the first and no score. On the far side in the neutral zone, Falcons able to take control, backhanded in. Around the boards for the junior from Newfoundland, Aaron Mercer. Will nudge it along. Vikings behind their own goal line, ready to reset and break out. With 5.5 minutes gone, stretch pass left side. Praisner gets a shot off. And that'll ricochet out of play. Felt like that shot got a piece of something on the way. Wasn't sure if it caught iron or Matone or what have you.
I think it just deflected off of Matone's glove and then went up into the netting back to his left. Faceoff will come to the right of the Falcon goaltender. 14:25 to play here in period number 1.
Zach Dill to take the draw for the Vikings, but will lose it to Toivo Kramer for the Falcons. Cleared out to the red line. Forden can't make a touch on, but it comes back into the defensive end. Fitchburg holds. Deep in their own zone. Gignac now on the near side. Forden off his stick. Out of his reach, Skylar Miller retrieves right wing corner in the Vikings' end. Miller pushing along on the near side and making his way up ice is Eric Larson, Jr., also from Lake Tahoe, California. Multiple players from the same hometown on the Vikings side. Now right point, shot goes just wide to the right. Matone had the low side covered. And it comes out to the left side boards and then pushed out of the zone. Hit against the boards. Kramer knocked to the ice. Vikings happy with that. 13:35 to go first period. No score. Shots 4-3 in favor of the green and gold. That was deflected in the neutral zone on the right side of the red line, so no icing. Falcons have to go back and retrieve. Gilbert loses his footing. Vikings trying to pounce on that one. Not in a good position to get a clean shot off. They'll try to center into the slot, but it's really off the stick of Seacack. Can't really do much with it. Seacack trying to retrieve again, right wing corner. Moving it along, gets it back on the give and go. Third Viking will swoop in, take control of the puck. Trying to protect it there is Miller at the blue line, but dispossessed and sent down the ice.
Wilmshire just gave him a hard check, got his stick in there, sent the puck all the way down to the Viking end.
Salem will try again, dump in, settled down by Bouthiette. Bouthiette with pressure there as Seacack trying to take it away, does do that. Seacack winning the puck, trying to center into the slot for Hughes. Ricochets out of his reach, and all the way down it'll go. Pepin will have to retrieve for the Vikings.
Seemed pretty even in the first couple of minutes, Dan, but lately Salem State has had a lot of control the last 4 or 5 minutes of action.
Eamon Miller dumps in. Bouthiette, first to arrive on the left side, retrieves back in his own end. Leaves it off. Falcons with a stretch pass. Rennick gets a touch on, but taken by the defense corps for Salem and sent back to the Falcon blue line. Now stretch pass out of the reach of Archambault. Rennick able to win the race to kill the icing. Archambault trying to settle on the left circle. Can't get a clean shot. Can't really get his puck on the blade of his stick. And now stretched up. And the shot there from Peyton Hughes is sticked aside by Matone and into the netting and out of play. 11:56 to go. First period. No score. Shots are 4 apiece.
Jack Saavedra got his stick on that shot for Fitchburg State. Slowed it down just enough for Chris Matone to get his blocker to it. Sent it up into the netting once again.
Draw will come to the right of Matone. Senior netminder from New Windsor, New York. Played for the New England Wolves. He's been part of this team for a very long time. Through the pandemic, so his 5th year with the university and his final year. On the near side boards in the Vikings end, Falcons can't control. Landon Gregorex, very difficult to say on the first blush. Got to get used to that one. Landon Gregorex, a freshman from Reading, is the one who dumped that in. Falcons able to send it around the boards out of the zone. Vikings try to regain it. Falcons send it right back into the neutral zone. And Gregorex is going to get right on top of that. 2 minutes in pursuit for the Falcons. But Gregorex will continue to hold from the red line, dumps in. Vikings will change some personnel. Antoine Gignac, the former Southern Maine Husky, able to take control of that one. Vikings throw it out in front, nothing there. Back around the boards, right wing corner in the Falcons' end. With 11 minutes to go in the first and no score. Vikings now leading the shot battle 5-4. As 2 minutes, and Millette, a couple former Leominster Blue Devils, trying to make plays on the puck as it goes back and forth in the neutral zone. Joseph Gilbert gains the zone, gets a shot off, blockered away by Mercer and into the netting and out of play.
Historically, Dan, Fitchburg State has had a lot of struggles against Salem State, but they have won their last 5 meetings, unbeaten in the last 10. Overall, though, it's 36-19-7 in favor of the Vikings.
Yep, Salem historically had been sort of a powerhouse in the 80s and 90s. And although Fitchburg had their own successes, Salem was always a formidable opponent. And it was always rather tough to find victories against them. But in the last few years, Fitchburg has found themselves to be the better side. Bad angle shot is gloved down by Matone. And these are two of the most experienced coaches, not just in the MASCAC, not just in Division III hockey, but really all of college hockey. Dean Fuller coaching his 38th season of college hockey. Bill O'Neill for Salem State coaching his 41st.
It's not often when Fitchburg State is playing a hockey game and Dean Fuller is the less experienced, less victorious coach. But that's the case tonight.
It's an interesting circumstance, and Bill O'Neill starting his 41st season with the Vikings. That's the longest tenure any college hockey coach has ever had with any team. The person who used to hold that record was Jack Parker at Boston University, coached the Terriers for 40 seasons, and he also coached Bill O'Neill back in the 70s. How do you like that? About halfway through the first period, no score, shot 6-5 in favor of Salem State. As Hunter Forden trying to keep control of the puck, battling there with Eamon Miller. About a pair of seniors going after it. On the near side, it is Pepin who will gain the zone, drop off for Larson. Larson's shot is wide, maybe a piece of it off the glove of Matone, but that was never going in the net. Oliver Cookson will get control of it in the neutral zone, and we have a penalty, a slash indicated against Salem State. And Keegan O'Donohue is going to pick up penalty minutes 29 and 30 as they'll sit for 2 minutes on the naughty step.
O'Donohue, the junior from Frisco, Texas. Used to be a Boston Bandit, Dan. He tried to get away with one there. It didn't work out for him.
The Falcons will go on the power play. First man advantage of the night with 9:40 to go in the first and no score. Falcons on the power this year, 12 for 53. That's 22.6%, second best in the MASCAC. The Vikings penalty kill at 76.4%, 42 for 55. That is last. See how the Falcons can do with the man advantage. They got themselves a couple power play goals against Plymouth a couple of nights ago. Halbig with a shot, goes off a leg and whistles into the right wing corner. Miller trying to clear it out, does just that. Halbig will have to go and recover it with the pressure there from Luke Day. But he's not concerned about that. Forden will regain the puck and the zone around the boards for Kramer. Kramer settles, tries to move it along. Matt Yanakopoulos, one of the most experienced Vikings on this roster, able to take it away. Feed it for Day. He's trying to find Dowd breaking in. But Forden is able to get to that puck and keep it away. 40 seconds gone on the power play, 9 to go in the first, no score. Brought up on the far side. It's Wilmshurst throwing it in front. Mercer makes the stop, no rebound there.
Brendan Walk was right there, but this time Mercer was able to hang on to it. You can see there, 8:51 to go here in period number 1.
Mercer, his 6th start of the season, 8th game played, 1-4 record, 501 goals against, 871 save percentage. The Vikings really struggled in the first semester. And this team giving up 4.7 goals per game. That's in the bottom 5 nationally. Vikings able to win the draw and spit it all the way down. Matone will settle. And Fitchburg ready to regroup. 60 seconds already gone on this power play. Here's Archambault up to the left dot. Takes the shot. Saved by Mercer. The rebound goes behind the net. Ricochets out to the near side. Kept in by Gignac on the backhand. Feeds it around the boards to the left wing corner. Out of the reach of Walk. Archambault trying to settle top of the left circle. Puck continues to bounce around. Fitchburg gets on top of it from Oliver Cookson. Cookson on the right side boards trying to hold it. To the point, Gignac keeping it going, but loses a handle on it. Dill trying to feed Larson for a breakaway. Vikings do have a few shorthanded goals this season, 3 in all. 20 seconds to go on the power. Gignac keeps it in again on the right side boards. Vikings will try yet again to clear it. This time they're successful, and down the length of the ice it goes, where Matone will wait in the left wing corner with 10 to go. Fitchburg will pick it up, try to make one last rush before O'Donoghue is freed from the disciplinary box as Millette bursting in and around the boards. O'Donoghue is out of the box now. Vikings back to full strength with 7:31 to go in the first period. Shot from the right point by Johansson ends up going wide to the left. Millette, left wing corner, trying to protect the puck. Surrounded by Vikings. Trying to move it along, 2 minutes, gets a stick on it, pops up in the air. O'Donoghue settles, gets it out of the zone. Halbig trying to dump it in, ends up hitting one of his own men. Puck flies up in the air, lands on the Viking blue line. And from the red line, long dump in and shot. Matone doesn't want to take any chances because he knows it's under him. He just doesn't know where.
Corey Tumanis is going to have a bruise tomorrow, and he's not going to know what it's from. It's from his own teammate slapping a pass right into his leg. 7:05 to go first period. No score. Shots even at 7. Want to thank our underwriters real quick. Underwriters for FATV Remote Productions, our Workers Credit Union, Rollstone Bank and Trust, UMass Memorial Health, Health Alliance Clinton Hospital, Sentinel and Enterprise, Unitil, North End Subaru, and Minutemen Press. Thank you very much to all of those.
Kramer trying to get out of the zone, taken down by Hughes. He gets a shot off, but it's well wide. Walk, moving along for Forden. Forden along. And here's Bergman. Bergman into the zone. Gets a shot off. Mercer will gobble that up and cover for a draw. 6:43 to go in the frame. No score between these two sides. Second of 3 meetings between the Falcons and Vikings this year. It might be the last time that we'll be seeing 3 meetings in a season between two sides during the regular season, as next year the Massachusetts College of Liberal Arts will revive men's ice hockey after a 20-year hiatus. I know when the conference was going to go to 8 teams a number of years ago, when a school that shall not be named was going to start playing ice hockey, then did bad things, and then that didn't happen. They were going to switch to a double round robin instead of the triple round robin they have now. So I imagine the same thing will happen when the Trailblazers take to the ice next fall. 6:15 to go in the frame and no score. Falcons trying to bring it out of their own end. Hunter Forden, one of two captains, along with Josh Miller. Miller unfit to play today, so Forden wearing the only C patch for the green and gold. Vikings will try to carry it up on the left side. Fredericks dropping off for Kyle Wildusky. And the pass up finds a Falcon stick instead. Now they try to stretch him out on the line change. Shot, kick, saved by Mercer. And the rebound settled at the top of the slot by multiple Vikings. Dill loses the handle on it. Cookson tried to find Millette, missed his stick. Falcons just trying to get it out of their own zone. They'll get it through the red line. And dumped in there by Pepin around the boards. Right side, Gilbert in the right wing corner for the green and gold. Floats it high up in the air. Bounces at the red line. Cannot be handled cleanly. Here's Millette in. He gets a shot off. That rises just offline.
So probably the best scoring opportunity of the night for Fitchburg, Dan.
Yep. Jeremy Millette still searching for his first career goal. He's got 2 assists on the season. The former Blue Devil from Leominster. Eric Larson from the neutral zone. Out to Dill. Gets a shot off. Stopped by Matone. No rebound. 5:02 to go in the frame. Jeremy Millette joins the list of, this is his first appearance on FATV in a Fitchburg State uniform, but not his first appearance overall. He made some appearances on FATV wearing the Leominster Blue Devils uniforms, especially during that COVID season where Fitchburg, Monty Tech, and Leominster played each other 3 times. He was a standout player for the Blue Devils, and after a year of juniors, is plying his trade here at the college level. Out to the neutral zone, Yannikopoulos settles on the red line. Can't keep it going. Archambault into the zone. Has Rennick coming there. Gets a shot off. Might have gotten a piece of the post, but it stays out. Whether he was looking for a shot on or maybe a pass to Rennick, ended up being an interesting chance, to say the least. But it remains scoreless. 4:30 to go in the first period. Fitchburg State 0, Salem State 0. Second of 3 meetings between these two teams this season. Vikings gain the red line, dump in left wing corner. Gene Bouthiette trying to move it around, got caught in someone's stick. Second effort will be picked up by Seacack for the Vikings, centered into the slot, but only a white shirt waiting for it there in Rennick. Rennick with a long dump in shot, gloved by Mercer, and with Bergman coming in, the whistle will blow.
I would tell you folks how much time is left here in the first period, but file not found. So we'll just say scoreless, shots in goal, 11-8 in favor of Fitchburg State.
And the faceoff will come to the left of Aaron Mercer. I feel like most of the offensive zone faceoffs we've seen in this contest thus far have been coming in the Falcon zone. There have been very few that have been to one side of Mercer.
Fitchburg State has had very few offensive opportunities. They've been playing really on their back foot for most of this first period.
But have found a way to win on the shot clock. Just as it stands on the scoreboard with the big red numbers, it remains as we started at 0-0. This foul not found a moment ago. Its goal's not found as well. While the Falcons losing his footing, maybe an appeal for a penalty, none given. Shot going wide of the cage. Right side, Eamon Miller. Shakes off a check, keeps control of it, looks to wrap around, will try a couple shots in there. And Matone keeps the hatches sealed. None shall pass down low.
Covers up that puck and then hops to his feet, does Matone. Felt a little bit of pressure from Salem State, thought it would be better for him not to be in a prone position at that time.
Matone's 11th career appearance with the Falcons. Was the primary backup for Brian McGrath last season. McGrath has since graduated, now assistant coach for the Green and Gold. Max Macchione has been the main goaltender for the Falcons this year. Has 9 starts. It's just the 4th time this year that he's given way in goal. But that was a freshman season command of the starting job for Fitchburg State. As that will be flipped up into the neutral zone. And Salem able to get on it. They've definitely dominated time of possession in this period, it feels. It feels like more time the puck has been on Salem's stick than it has been on Fitchburg's. As a shot by Luke Day is turned aside by Matone. Falcons again trying to rush it out of the zone. But Salem again clogging up the neutral zone, making it very difficult to get past. Sometimes the Falcons have been able to break through the pressure, and they've been able to get some solid shots on Mercer. But Mercer's been strong to those as well.
Most of Fitchburg's chances, Dan, easy for me to say, have come on the counterattack, and they've got one developing here.
It's walk into the zone, tries to backhand it on, doesn't get a clean shot away, keeps control of the puck, moves it along for Rennick. Now Archambault, right wing corner. Archambault holding, trying to split the defense. He does do that. Split the couple of Vikings there, but also split his defenders. They have to come out and reset. Came back in, lost a handle. 2-on-2. Larson nudging along near side for Dill. Bouthiette bounces off the boards, but taken down by Keegan O'Donoghue. Pass into the slot is knocked down as well. Larson now right side. Great shot saved by Matone. A good chance for the Vikings in up close on Matone, but he sticks right to it. 1:35 to go first period. No score. Shots now 11 apiece. Solid goaltending on both sides in this contest. As four players tying the puck up against the boards finally poked free. Salem trying to get a little bit of space. Antoine Gignac will clear it down the length of the ice. That won't go for icing. It will be ruled obtainable just before it makes it to the goal line. And the Vikings will have to start from zero again. On the left side, there's a shot gobbled up by Matone off the stick of David Seacack, the junior from Cranford, New Jersey. Looking for his first goal of the season. It shot to come there.
Could see Matone on that shot, Dan. He made the initial save, but then he was not confident at all. He did not think he had a handle on that puck. You saw him kind of looking down at his midsection, almost juggling at it, making sure that he retained possession and got the whistle.
Indeed he did. Fitchburg trying to burst up. Here's Bergman. Bergman with a shot turned aside by Mercer. Rebound spit out to the red line for Joe Gilbert. He'll dump in from there. We're under a minute to go in the frame. Shots a dozen apiece, but goals a goose egg apiece. Vikings regain the zone. Hold on for a moment. Look for a redirection, and Matone gets bowled over. No penalty there, nor should there have been. There was a Falcon who pushed the Viking in there, and a shot through the traffic. Matone was down and ready. He's still trying to get his wits about and get his stick, get his paraphernalia back in order.
His stick is much more important than his wits. He didn't have either for about 30 seconds there.
Seemed. Shot turned aside by Mercer. A second chance blocked and now cleared out of the zone. 12 seconds to go in the period. Falcons wanted to go in quick transition, making a line change. Everybody getting discombobulated. Vikings trying to catch him off guard for one last gasp. Dumped in. Halbig throws it around the boards. 2 seconds and one, and time will expire in the first period. Frantic action. 25 shots between the two teams, but not a goal to be found. Through 20 minutes of play, it's Fitchburg State 0 and Salem State 0.
Back and forth, up and down the ice, especially in those last 2 or 3 minutes, Dan. There was a period in that first period, used the same word twice in a sentence, that's fine. There was a span of time, how about that, in that first period where it felt like Salem State really had the advantage, and you were starting to say, okay, Fitchburg's lost 3 in a row here. They're taking on the last place team, and they're getting dominated. What is going on here? But later into the first period, Fitchburg State was able to recover, push the pressure on the offensive side. All in all, a very even period, and it makes sense. 2 very good goaltending performances that we are scoreless as we head to the first intermission.
Indeed, these 2 goalies coming in with goals against around 5, but both of them playing with goals against of naught through 20 minutes. Solid performances for the 5'11" Chris Matone, for the 6-foot-tall Aaron Mercer, similarly sized goalies as well. And they keep the puck out through 20 minutes of play, but still a lot more hockey to be had. And for Fitchburg State, we've mentioned one of the big storylines is they are down a number of personnel today. Only 16 skaters are fit and active for the green and gold today, 3 below the standard. So that's one less line that they have at their disposal, and it means a few more miles going on the legs of those players today.
Yeah, there's a lot of names crossed out on the rosters that we have here. A lot of names that were just like, no, we're not going to see him today. He's not playing. Oh, that guy, he's not here. He didn't even come. He's at home. You know, that sort of thing. So it's a very difficult situation for Fitchburg State. We mentioned the injuries, the illnesses have played a major bit of havoc for Fitchburg State. Again, losers of their last 3, but they are scoreless through 1 period here at the Wallace Civic Center. Dan and I will take the break alongside the players, and we will be back momentarily with the second period of action. Don't go anywhere. It's Hockey Night in Fitchburg here on FATV. Back here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University, it is scoreless between the Falcons of Fitchburg State and the Vikings of Salem State as we get ready for the second period of action here on Hockey Night in Fitchburg on FATV. I'm John Gugerty, of course, joined once again by Dan Bullock. Dan, is my first hockey game of the season. Wonderful to be back here on FATV with you, calling probably my worst sport. I think that's fair to say.
Yep. Well, you'll have a period to try to get better at it, if you will.
Exactly.
Yep.
We're learning here, dang it.
So through one period of play, no score between Fitchburg State and Salem State. Official shots after a bit of adjusting are 13 for Fitchburg and 11 for Salem. See if you can spot the difference.
Somebody hit the wrong button one time?
Perhaps. There were 15 face-offs in that first period, 9 of which were won by Fitchburg, 6 for Salem. And there was one penalty for 2 minutes against Salem. That was Keegan O'Donoghue going to the box for a slash, and the Falcons were unable to score on it.
Falcons really looked, honestly, pretty disorganized on that power play, Dan. We've talked a bit about how Salem State looked out of whack, but it's worth mentioning as well, we have touched on it. Fitchburg State has a couple of guys who are typically forwards playing on the defensive side of the puck. So a little bit of new roles for a lot of guys, injuries and illnesses, as they say, ravaging the Falcons. So it's been a difficult path for Fitchburg State of late, losers again of their last 3 games. But hey, 2 periods to go here, scoreless game, it's winnable.
Yep, that's one of the challenges after all, is the fact that they only have 4 pure defensemen dressing for today's game, so they had to move a couple of forwards in Jean Bouthiette and Jack Saavedra to the defense pairs, running 3 forward lines, 3 defense lines, have an extra forward in there as well for 16. But yeah, it does end up leading a bit of challenges, some chemistry, basically a lot of players who wouldn't normally be playing with each other. You're just trying to mix and match and make the best possible lines out of it.
Yeah, I see an awful lot of D's in this position column among the players who are scratched. You know, no Sargent, no Wolford, no Skaggs, no Miller. It's an awful lot of defensemen not playing today for the Falcons.
Yep, and the Falcons have 8 defensemen by trade on their roster out of their 22 skaters, and yes, half of them are unfit to play today, so that doesn't lead to good vibes, if you will, on the defensive side. You just have to try to make do the best you can. But yes, Nolan Sargent, Egan Wolford, Anthony Ciolin, Mike Macchione, Trent Skaggs, Josh Miller, all scratched today at forward, and then Matt Ratter's the odd one out in goal, but you can only dress 3 goalies anyway.
That's true. Those are the rules.
Yep, and for Salem State, only a couple of scratches. They have 26 players. It's the same thing, 22 skaters, well, 21 actually. Different roster editing after it was made.
Fair enough.
21 skaters, so they only have to scratch 2. Matthew Castillo and Jason Tynan are the scratched skaters, and Peter Barry is the scratched goalie on numbers.
As we get ready for the start of period number 2, it'll be Toivo Kramer taking it for the Falcons, opposed by Keegan O'Donoghue of the Vikings. Teams have switched sides. Falcons will be going right to left. Again, they're in the white jerseys and green. Kramer wins the faceoff, gets it back to Gignac. Gignac sends it to the other side, sends it back behind the net. Antoine Gignac will pick it up, loses the puck in front of the net, grabbed there by Bergman. Falcons will skate it forward. Gignac takes the left-handed shot, save made by Mercer. Kicked back into the Falcon end, chased down there by Jean Bouthiette, no icing. Bouthiette will have to play it. Pressured, gets rid of it to Kramer. Kramer clears the zone, sends it ahead to Hunter Fortin. Fortin back to Bergman. Bergman takes the shot from the point. Nice save made by Mercer. It's up against the boards. Back behind the net, picked up there by a Viking. Finally spun around and cleared by Skylar Miller. Fortin at the blue line. Dances backward, now dumps it in. He'll go back behind the net, played there by Mercer. He'll drop it off for Keegan O'Donoghue. 1 minute gone, second period, still scoreless. Yannikopoulos with it now, behind the Salem net. Tries to clear the zone, played with a very high stick by Oliver Cookson. But Fitchburg doesn't get the advantage, so the puck continues live. Shot by Gretorix is deflected, goes into the net, and we'll get our first stoppage of the first period with 1:15 gone. 18:45 to play here in period number 2. Still scoreless.
Indeed, and one of the things we noted in the first period is the fact that most of the Falcons' chances have been in transition, trying to rush up ice and get a shot off, as opposed to Salem State, who most of their shots have just been by pressuring in the zone.
Gretorix and Millette on the face-off, controlled by Salem State. Shot save made by Matone. His first save of this second period. Falcons clear the zone. This is Millette with it. He just dumps it in. Cleared out easily by Salem State. Now sent back in. Millette gives chase, but it's controlled by Luke Pepin. He skates towards his own goal. Got to go that way some point, Luke. There's a wall there. We get a whistle. Jeremy Millette may have been a little bit over-aggressive in his pursuit. Let's see what the officials have to say.
Looks like a hold called by the referee, McManus. It'll be a hook instead, but it is Millette going to the bin for the third time this season.
I did not see any red lights in that district of the ice. There is no hooking allowed here at the Wallace Civic Center. Faceoff will come to the Falcon end. First power play of the night for Salem State. Vikings win, controlled at the blue line by Miller. He'll send it forward. Shot goes off the net. Matone didn't even have to be there. That one wasn't going to go in either way. Centering pass just a bit too wide. O'Donohue couldn't keep it in the zone. Salem State will have to reset. This is Zach Dill. He sends it to the near side for Yannikopoulos. Pressured by Bergman. Skates back the other way. Gets it back to O'Donohue, who sends it in all the way behind the Falcon net, where it'll be grabbed by Eric Larson. Larson leaves it off for Dill. Dill sends it back to the point to Yannikopoulos. Across the ice to O'Donohue. Back into Larson. Yannikopoulos again. Leaves it for O'Donohue. His shot save made by Matone. Goes back out to the right. O'Donohue once again. Centering pass intercepted and cleared. Good work on the defensive end there by Christian Hallbig. He came up with a Hall-big play for Fitchburg State. Gives them a chance to change lines halfway through the power play. 17-17 to go here in period number 2. We are still scoreless. Advanced up for Salem State. This is Day. He gives it to Gretorix. Gretorix behind the net. Takes it all the way himself. Leaves it for Miller. Eamon Miller back to Gretorix. Under pressure. Teammate comes to join him. This is Day fighting for it with Samuel Rennick. Couple more Vikings and a Falcon in on it. Gignac finally pokes it clear. Cookson gives chase for Fitchburg State. He will clear. 25 seconds to play on the man advantage for the Vikings. Mercer sends it back behind the net. Picked up there by Miller. 15 seconds on the power. Chance for one more chance for Salem State. Just use the same word twice in the same sentence again. It's fine. Let's move on. Shot is deflected. Rebound shot goes wide. 4 seconds left on the power play. Fitchburg State's going to successfully kill this, but they're still under a lot of pressure from Salem State, even as the sides are even. Another shot is deflected before it gets through to Matone. Fitchburg State will clear 2-on-1 for them if they hurry. Millette's got it. He's 1-on-1 with the goaltender. One man to beat. His backhand shot is in. He scores! Jeremy Millette, his first goal as a Falcon, makes it 1-0 Fitchburg with 16:08 to play in the second period.
Once the power play expired, once they were able to push it out of the zone, a 2-on-1 developed, and Rennick able to feed Millette, able to get the break on Mercer, get all the way in, and put the moves on, put it in off the backhand. First collegiate goal for Jeremy Millette. And that's the first strike of this contest.
That was a very pretty goal, Dan. He deked left, he deked right, he finally jumped to his right, went to the backhand, and put the biscuit in the basket. 1-0 Fitchburg. Face-off won by the Falcons. It'll go back behind the Fitchburg net, chased there by Hallbig. Hallbig sends it to Jack Johansson. Didn't call his name too often in the first period. He sends it back to Hallbig.
Scored by number 7, Jeremy Mallet.
Hallbig
assisted by number 22, Samuel Rennick.
Grabbed there by Salem State. Falcon player is without his stick. In front of the net, backhand shot is deflected, never gets to Matone. Corey Tumanis now with it for Fitchburg. He's dispossessed by Skylar Miller. Miller gives chase back behind the Salem net. He'll leave it off for a teammate, take it himself before it's intercepted by Fitchburg State. Back in front of the net, shot steered wide by Mercer. Just kind of guided that one off to the right. Tumanis on the near side boards. Pressured by Skylar Miller. Poke finally cleared out by Salem State. Just about 15 minutes to play here in period number 2. Falcons lead 1-0. Back in the Salem end. Pass goes behind the net. Gathered there by Luke Pepin. Pepin will clear the blue line. Try to take it along further. Gets the red. Leaves it back for his teammate Larson. Larson's pressured. He'll give it up for Zach Dill. Dill across ice, back to Pepin. Pepin, a shot. That's blocked. Shot actually came from O'Donohue. My apologies. Blocked before it got to Matone. O'Donohue sends it back behind the net for Dill. Dill on the far side boards. Pressured by Rennick. Centering pass for Dill. His backhand shot is saved by Matone. Dan, I think Dill, if he could have gotten that shot off on the first touch, had a wide open net, but he kind of double clutched at it. He had to pump and then shoot. By the time he got the shot off, there just wasn't enough power there, and Matone was able to correct himself, get into position to make a full extension save.
Yep. Just challenging to settle on your backhand, get that shot off from that awkward position, but great on Matone for getting across there. That still took a tremendously athletic play by the senior keeper to keep that one out of the net.
Still a tremendous save, as you said, by Matone. 14 and a half minutes to go here in the second period. Falcons lead 1-0. Fitchburg gains the zone. Left off for Bouthiet. Wide open. His slap shot is steered away by Mercer. Back to Bouthiet at the point. He sends it forward. Another shot. This one by Fortin is blocked. Falcons players tripping over Vikings. Amanda's just down on all fours. Is that legal? That doesn't seem like that should be legal. I've seen that on schoolyards. Bullies do that. That's wrong. 3-on-3 down the other end. Shot by Salem State is deflected wide. DeMumbrum in pursuit for the Vikings. Hard hit delivered. I believe that was by Gretorix on the near side boards. Christian Hallbig's going to be feeling that one for a while. He'll take it out in front of the Falcon net. Sends it up to Hunter Fortin. Fortin wanted to get it back to Bouthiet, but the pass is wide. It's picked up by Seacack. Seacack drops it off for Praisner. Praisner's shot goes behind the net. Grabbed there by Seacack. Seacack back out to Miller. Seacack now sends it back in behind the net. Praisner gives chase, but it's going to be grabbed by Wilmshurst for Fitchburg State. Wilmshurst and Praisnack fighting for it. It's steered out by neither of them. Toivu Kramer came in and grabbed the puck himself. Cleared out to Wilmshurst just across the Fitchburg blue line. Nice pass for Fortin. He's 1-on-2, but he's got a chance. Centering pass just couldn't get to Wyatt Wilmshurst. Salem State will gather and not clear the zone, actually. Good defensive work there by Jeremy Millette. But it does ultimately clear as we cross the 13-minute threshold, 12:45 to play here in the second period. Pursued along the near side boards by Gignac. Two Vikings come to hit him, but there's no puck there. Wilmshurst has it instead. Wilmshurst sends it forward for Johansson. Gains the zone, sends it along the near side, and it's into the netting. We'll get a stoppage with 12:32 to play.
1-0 to the Falcons. That goal, Jeremy Millette from Samuel Rennick. You know, for a lot of these players, many of their contributions that will get them recruited and get them to play college hockey come at the junior hockey level. For Jeremy Millette and for Samuel Rennick, those are two players who the predominance of their achievements before coming to Fitchburg State really came at the high school level. Millette with Leominster High School and Samuel Rennick with Triton High School up in the northeast corner of the state.
Save made by Mercer off the faceoff. Another shot and another save, and this time Mercer will hang on. Aaron Mercer has faced a lot of pressure here in this second period. Shots on goal unofficially 19-15 in favor of Fitchburg. That would be, 6-4 in the period?
It would indeed.
I'm good at math.
Yep. And I will say, for Millette and for Rennick, they did each play just a touch of junior hockey, but really for both of them, most of their big contributions to their teams came in high school. And so that's not something you see a whole lot nowadays, seeing players go from high school to college hockey. Even at the Division III level, it's just so competitive.
O'Donohue in on goal, can't get the shot off. Grabbed there by Wilmshurst, cleared out, sent right back in by Salem State. Gignac grabs it for the Falcons. He'll try to backhand it out of the zone. He'll backhand it into the penalty box instead, which I suppose is out of the zone, but it's not what he was going for.
Bring an offensive zone draw, I believe.
That does seem to be where the men in black and white are setting up.
Our officials, as always, provided by the Division I Conference Atlantic Hockey. I don't have names for you, though.
The guy closest to us is named Marino. I can see his shirt.
Yeah, I know. One of the linesmen. I'm a bit rusty on my Atlantic Hockey referee names.
How dare you, Dan? We finally found something Dan Bolak doesn't know off the top of his head.
I used to back in the day.
You're getting old, my friend. O'Donohue sends it back behind the Falcon net. Matone will play it, leaves it off for Joe Gilbert. Gilbert under pressure, spins out of it, tries to clear the zone. Luke Pepin applying the heat. O'Donohue sends it back behind the net. Pass out, shot save made by Matone. Just barely stays in play, high off the boards, but it is still live. Falcon player goes to the ice, no whistle. Wait, there is going to be a whistle. Matone's out of net, and we're going to get a penalty against Salem State. Thought that was a trip, and then there wasn't an immediate indication. But then the official said, no, that was a trip. So Salem State player is going to go to the box for tripping. That, I believe, is the second time Keegan O'Donohue has been sent to the sin bin this evening.
Indeed it has been.
I see. He really likes that box-like structure over there.
Yep. He's second on the team in penalty minutes this season. He's now up to 32. The team leader is Eric Larson. He's got 52. This is not a category you want to lead in.
No, it's really not. Faceoff will come to the right of Mercer, won by Fitchburg State. Hallbig sends it forward for Fortin, back to Hallbig. Over to Wilmshurst on the far side, now back to Hallbig. Ahead to Fortin, looking for just the right shot. Hunter Fortin skates forward. It's not there, we get a whistle. Looks like something might have happened away from the play. They're going to send a Falcon to the penalty box?
I think what happened is a Falcon set up shop in the blue paint a little too much to the officials' liking. And in college hockey, you can blow the whistle and call the play dead for that.
I think it was Bergman, the guilty party. They will take a face-off just outside the offensive end. Won by the Falcons, and they'll get right back to work. Fortin brings it in. He's got Bergman behind it, but he prefers to keep it himself. Now sends it forward to Wilmshurst. Wilmshurst reverses course. Back to Fortin. Over to Wilmshurst again. Now Hallbig at the blue line. His shot is deflected by two men, never gets to goal, and Salem State will clear. 1:20 to play in the power play, 10:35 in the period. Fitchburg State leads 1-0. Hallbig will take it as the Falcons will change up a little bit of personnel and reset. Toivo Kramer on ice now. Dumps it in. Whiff on one clearance opportunity, not on the second. Sent all the way back down and will reset once again. Hallbig grabs with an even minute to play on the power play. Still plenty of time for Fitchburg State if they want to extend this lead with the man advantage. Hallbig sends it forward to Cookson, who just dumps it in and chases. Chased there by Walk. Cookson on it now. Cleared out once again by Salem State. It's not fancy, this penalty kill, but it's been effective. They've burned just about a minute and a half, and Fitchburg State is still on the man advantage. This is Archambault as he gains the line. One man to beat, chooses not to do it. He'll set up a play. Cross-ice pass just barely kept in by Gignac. His shot is grabbed and held onto by Aaron Mercer. We get another stoppage with 9:39 to play in the second period. 21 seconds on the power play for Fitchburg.
As we said, second man advantage for the Falcons. A solid power play, 22.6 coming in. Only team with a better power play in the conference is Plymouth, who's operating at 33%, one of the best in the nation.
Faceoff is won by the Vikings, cleared all the way out. Matone will grab it there and set up one last chance for Fitchburg. 10 seconds on the power play. They've got to hurry if they want to do it now. Millette gains the zone, but the puck pops up high. It's going to be grabbed and cleared by Salem State as we are back to even strength. Day fighting with Bouthiette. Both men go to the ice. Puck winds up on the stick of Jack Saavedra. Saavedra doesn't like that. He gives it to Gignac. Gignac dumps it in. Mercer can't handle it. It's going to come all the way along the near side boards and be cleared down onto Fitchburg's side. Sent right back out to center ice. Nobody there wearing white. Instead, Skylar Miller's got it. He'll dump it into the offensive end where it's chased by Ryan Barrett. Cleared now by Tuminous. 8:45 to go second period as the Falcons gain the zone. Saavedra sends it along the boards, goes all the way out and over the blue line. Tuminous' stick explodes. The blade went flying like a boomerang over the blue line. I don't know if we saw that. Meanwhile, back on the ice, Pepin's got it, sends it back for Barrett. Barrett looking for a shot. Shot saved, rebound wide. Still loose in front of the net. Finally controlled by Miller, who pokes it forward. Tuminous' stick is still just lying between the red and blue lines on the left side of the ice. Meanwhile, Salem State has an opportunity in front. Preisner's shot goes wide. Falcons manage to clear. Miller skates right over Tumanis' stick as it's sent back in for Salem State. This is Gretorix with it now. He sends it back behind the net. Played by Coyle. Kevin Coyle, the junior from Weymouth, pressured by Gilbert. Gives it up for Woolley. Comes back out to Cronkite, who sends it back behind the boards. How deep does this roster go?
Well, they're really using all 19 of their skaters.
Toivo Kramer's got it for Fitchburg. He sends it forward to Bergman. Bergman floats up a shot, intercepted before it even gets to the net. Never was going to trouble Mercer. Cleared and grabbed by Jack Johansson. Shot is blocked. Gignac expertly steers over the loose blade still on the ice as the puck is played along the far side boards. Picked up there by Salem. Pass is intercepted, but then another pass is subsequently intercepted again. Gaining the zone now is Raph Preisner. Can't do anything with it, though. Puck squirts loose to Seacack, but it finally crosses the blue line. We've been live for what feels like 3 straight minutes now.
Feels pretty close to it.
Wilmshurst gains the offensive zone for Fitchburg as they play in the near side left corner. Out to Gignac, cross-ice pass. Shot from the far side, steered wide. Millette in there back behind the net, but Skylar Miller does a good job getting rid of it. Sent along for Pepin, who forwards it instead to Seacack. Seacack gains the zone for Salem State, gives chase. Wilmshurst just pokes it loose. Seacack with a chance, but it falls off his blade. Couldn't really get the shot off. Miller's got it, back for Yannikopoulos. Yannikopoulos will dump as Salem State changes personnel for the 19th time since I took a breath. Gignac sends it along the far side boards into the Salem end, no icing. Grabbed there by Miller.
And linesman Shepley finally gets Tumanis' blade off of the ice. It was a couple of minutes ago that one of the Salem State players, after one nearly tripped over it, pushed it off to the side, and then the blade stayed there for a couple more minutes because we've just not had a stoppage. It's been well over 4 minutes without a whistle.
Hallbig advances for, well, it's going to be covered up before I can find the name on my roster. It was Archambault who was giving chase for the Falcons, but Aaron Mercer will mercifully stop play with 5:41 to go here in the second period.
And the last faceoff was at 9:29 to go, according to the live stats.
So just about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whole lot of hockey there.
Faceoff comes just outside the Fitchburg offensive end. Controlled by the Vikings. Eamon Miller will take it, sends it back behind the net. Cleared out all the way down. It did touch a Fitchburg stick. No, it did not. We will get a whistle for icing. It was a very delayed whistle. But they do stop the clock and blow the whistle with 5:29 to play here in the period.
Yep. 3 Vikings appealed that definitely touched a stick on the way, and one of the referees came over to the Salem State bench and asked them to be quiet.
Yeah, Mr. Durfee is not happy with the Vikings at the moment.
Yes, there was apparently additional chirps coming from the bench.
Faceoff comes to Mercer's right. Controlled there by the Falcons. Hallbig tries to send it forward for Fortin, but it squirts under his stick. Closest Falcon is Bergman. Fortin tries to grab it. Steered out by DeMumbrum. Shot goes wide. Pursued there by Bergman. He'll send it back behind the net for Fortin again. Fortin wanted a wraparound. It wasn't there. Instead, he skates to the near side boards. Send it back. Shot by Bergman goes wide. I think that was actually blocked by a Salem State player. You see him immediately grab his midsection. Meanwhile, back at the other side of the ice, Salem State had an opportunity, but it was steered clear by Fitchburg. Chris Dowd sends it cross ice. Peyton Hughes giving chase for the Vikings. Hughes sends it forward for Miller. Intercepted, however. Big hit from behind. No whistle. It was clean. Fortin delivered a wallop there. Still in the offensive zone for Salem State. Seacack has it. Hughes wants it. Seacack doesn't want to give it up. Hughes will finally come in and poke it loose himself. Squirts to the stick of Jeremy Millette, though. Millette forward to Bergman. Bergman will just dump it in and head to the box for a line change. 4:10 to play here in the second period. Fitchburg State leading 1-0. Falcon goal scored in this period by Jeremy Millett, his first as a Falcon. Gave the Fitchburg State team the lead they enjoy now. Just barely not kept in at the far side blue line by Luke Pepin. Vikings have to tag up. They do to keep the puck live, but Fitchburg State retains possession. Poked in just beyond the red line, so this will be no icing. Live puck as it heads to the far side left. Battled for back behind the net. Comes out to Gilbert. He thinks about it, then shoots. It's deflected. Chance for Salem State. He got a 1-on-2 for Landon Gretorix. Gretorix liked those odds, but Fitchburg State was able to defend. Now Gretorix will hold up and wait for some teammates. Gretorix sends it basically to the face-off dot. Shot save made by Matone. Grabbed at the far side boards and sent back across the ice for Corey Tumanis. Salem State now sends it back into the Fitchburg end. Brendan Walk will gently trot over there to get it. Sends it forward. Walk gains the red line and dumps into the Salem end. Fitchburg State will change 4. 2:50 to play here in the second period. Falcons still lead 1-0. Good individual effort there by Yannikopoulos, but nothing came of the shot. Matone was able to steer it wide. Back to Yannikopoulos now. His shot is deflected, never gets to Matone. Believe that hit his teammate Connor Woolley, and we get a whistle as the puck goes out of play. 2:32 to play second period. I'm sorry, Dan.
Yep. This next faceoff will be just the 12th of this period, and we only had 15 in the first. That means a lot of free-flowing hockey that we've been seeing thus far in this contest.
It's been good, entertaining hockey at that. Shots on goal unofficially 21-18 in favor of Fitchburg State. Falcons win the faceoff and clear. Eamon Miller will send it right back in. Eric Larson runs into Shepley, the linesman. Out of the fracas, Jeremy Millett winds up with the puck. Millett has got Cookson with him. Shot is deflected, but it stays in, hits the boards, not the netting. So it's still a live puck as it's fought for behind the Salem State net, rather. Vikings trying to clear, and they finally will. This is Dill with it, and we get a whistle.
Offside.
I think it might have been offside.
Yep, that was a case of the Falcons and the Vikings just getting tied up enough at the blue line, and by the time puck didn't quite go in, the miscoordination at that point, and then the whistle blows for the offsides. That could have been explained a lot better.
That's all right. Just over 2 minutes to play here in the second period. Face-off is won by the Vikings. Chased down by Skylar Miller. He'll send it forward to Day. Day back to Miller. Salem State having trouble getting it out of their own end. Finally gaining the blue line. Covered up by Matone. We'll get a face-off in the Fitchburg end with just over a minute and a half to play. For someone who stinks at calling hockey, this has not been my worst period calling hockey, if I do say so myself.
You get those reps in there, and it'll just come to you more and more naturally.
Christopher Dowd and Corey Tumanis set to take the face-off. Mr. Shepley has words for the players behind him first. Face-off steered to the far side boards. Pursued there by Seacack. Centering pass poked wide before Salem State could get a shot out of it. Good job there by Matone getting his stick in. Now a 3-on-1 for Fitchburg if they hurry. Sent back, shot deflected, never gets on net. Gignac will take it. He'll send it forward. Tumanis sends it behind the net, grabbed there by Gene Bouthiette. Bouthiette centers for nobody wearing white. It's intercepted by Salem State as we hit just about the 1 minute mark here in the second period. High floating shot is caught by Matone, and we'll get a face-off with 1:04 to play here in period number 2.
Feels like we've been seeing a little more of the same. Fitchburg continuing to try to strike in transition while Salem continues to dominate in zone time and just trying to create shots. But the Falcons have been doing very well in protecting their goaltender in Matone.
Face-off will come to his left. Won by Fitchburg. Gilbert sends it back behind the net. Fortin will grab it there. He's hit from behind, but he does manage to clear the zone. Bergman drops it off for Kramer. Kramer's got a couple of men on him, and he loses the handle. Luke Pepin sends it back behind the Salem State net, and then it is cleared out. Advance to Bergman, but Bergman immediately has it poked away. It winds up with Halbig. Halbig sends it back across the ice to Gignac. Gignac forward to Kramer. He's got Bergman right behind it, leaves it off for Bergman. His shot is steered wide. Good little play there, and a nice save by Mercer. Now Bergman with another opportunity. His centering pass is just in the wrong place. Could have been an opportunity there for Halbig, but the pass wasn't good enough. No whistle there despite Fortin getting tripped up. Centering pass is broken up. Comes to Larson, and his shot is covered up. And now we get some pushing and shoving in extracurriculars. Just about 8 seconds left in this period, rather. Teams are getting a little testy with one another.
Well, that last one, just because the puck was in on Matone, he's able to cover it up. Salem trying to contest for it. And teams will always take offense when you see that pressure on their keeper when they're trying to gobble up the puck.
He's like, that's my goaltender. Don't hit him with a stick. I know you have a stick and it's for hitting, but don't hit my goaltender with a stick. That's rude.
Hit pucks, not people.
Exactly. Just 8.5 seconds left to play, so all Fitchburg has to do is cover it up, basically. Puck squirts back behind the net. It'll be grabbed there, collected along the near side boards, and the horn goes. We have reached the second intermission with Fitchburg State leading Salem State 1-0. Was a much more positive second period, Dan, not just on the scoreboard, I feel, but just in terms of controlling the pace of play, especially in the first 10 minutes of the period. Fitchburg State looked like the better side here, and it's not a surprise that they got the goal.
If they were able to get that goal, and really right in transition at the end of the only penalty that they had to kill in that frame. Jeremy Millette was pretty fresh out of the box there, able to put on the speed there, get that pass from Samuel Rennick, who was able to clear it out of the zone, and able to just break in on Mercer, put the moves on, and deke Mercer inside out to get that lone strike 3 minutes and 55 seconds into the frame. It's the only goal we had in the period, only goal we've had in this game. According to the live stats, the shots through 2 periods of play are Fitchburg 25 and Salem 21. That would be 12 shots for the Falcons in the second frame and 10 for the Vikings.
Toward the end of the period, Salem looked a little bit better, Dan. They obviously, now that they're down a goal, they find themselves needing to push the pressure, needing to advance the tempo a little bit, if you will. But I think, it's been a very even game so far. Obviously, when these two teams met earlier in the season, it was a 7-2 win for Fitchburg. That was back on Thursday, the 10th of November in Salem. But this is a very different Salem State team and a very different Fitchburg team as well.
Indeed, and even with Fitchburg, down a few players today, including a few solid goal scorers like an Anthony Ciolin, like a Mike Macchione, great playmakers who just haven't been able to play today just due to illness and whatever, and then, the strong defensemen like Nolan Sargent or an Egan Wolford or a Trenton Skaggs, just not able to get in the lineup when they normally would be. It does mean that things are a bit different. The Falcons have had to shuffle things up with the personnel, and those lines have definitely been, the defense pairings have definitely been more suggestions than anything. I've seen players rotated in and out on defense, on forward, just trying to make do the best they can. And really, it seems like the Falcons at this point, I get the impression they're trying to hold on, especially late in that period where it definitely looked like Salem was forcing the pressure there. But the Falcons have been able to hold on. They have been able to support Matone, who hasn't had to face too many high danger chances. The most dangerous one was that shot right on the right doorstep when Zach Dill had it on his backhand. And if it wasn't for Dill double clutching, it might be a 1-1 game.
Dill had a wide open net there. You can't fault him for not making the shot. It was a very difficult opportunity. It would have been a ridiculously skillful play if he was able to accurately get a one-time backhand shot off. He did have the wide open net. He had to double clutch it by the time he got the shot off. There just wasn't enough power behind it. Matone was able to react and make the save. But as you said, Dan, other than that, this, makeshift Fitchburg defense, it's almost like they don't so much have lines as it's just, okay, 2 guys are coming off. You and you go on the ice. They're just getting bodies on the ice whenever they can. Play whatever position you need to play. Just keep 5 guys on the ice at all times and hope it works out. And so far, it's worked out.
So far, it has. they'll get that much-needed rest and then 20 more minutes of hockey that they'll have to try to survive, and they'll see if they can try to get some insurance as well.
20 more minutes of hockey to play, but 10 more minutes of intermission before that. Dan and I will take the break alongside the players and be back with you for period number 3. Don't go anywhere. It's Hockey Night in Fitchburg here on FATV. Back here at the Wallace Civic Center for Hockey Night in Fitchburg on FATV. I'm John Gugerty, joined, of course, by Dan Bolak. It is 1-0 Fitchburg as we get ready for the third and final period of play here from the campus of Fitchburg State University. Fitchburg scoring their only goal in this game pretty early in the second period. Jeremy Millette, the freshman from Leominster, getting his first tally as a Falcon to give Fitchburg State the lead. And really, Dan, it feels like Fitchburg State should be in the lead. They mostly controlled that second period.
At least in terms of shots, in terms of getting good chances on Viking netminder Aaron Mercer, who's been playing very well, one of his better games this season. He's already made 24 saves in this contest. And really the one shot that Millette beat him on, that was essentially a breakaway in on goal with tremendous moves in dekes. It would be challenging for any goalie to stop at that point.
Was a really impressive move by Millette. Again, just a freshman from Leominster. We've seen him here on FATV before. We talked a little bit about that earlier in the game. But still plenty of time in this one, Dan. Salem State is not out of it yet by any means.
No question about it. And Salem has been doing very well at possessing the puck and really controlling the zone. And that's been a challenge for the Falcons. Chris Matone's got 21 saves in just his second start of the season. The Falcons have been trying to do everything they can to try to limit the high danger chances, especially with the makeshift defense. Only 4 true defensemen for the Falcons playing today because of injuries and illness. So they've had to improvise the best they can to try to fill out those lines. And so far they've been weathering the storm, but still 20 more minutes they'll have to survive.
And I think, Dan, that Fitchburg defense deserves a lot of credit, because even though Salem State has controlled the puck for the bulk of the time that is run down on the clock, Fitchburg State leads in terms of shots on goal. So that tells me that Salem has had a lot of opportunities where their shots have been deflected or blocked, and it hasn't even bothered Matone at all. It could have been nobody in goal, and Fitchburg's defense would have turned the shot away anyway. But as we get ready for the third period of action, here's Dan Bolak.
Puck is down. We're underway in the third period. Falcons going from left to right in the home white uniforms. Salem State going right to left in the road orange uniforms. Dumped in on Mercer. He'll cover 11 seconds into the frame.
I was throwing to you, for the record.
Yep. But all the sticks got loud and I couldn't hear it.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Draw comes to the right of Mercer. Scuttled for and eventually controlled by Salem. They'll toss it around the boards to the near side. Larson tries to backhand between his legs, taken by Forden. On a give and go, Forden into the left circle, trying to create some space. Larson right on his back, putting all the pressure on. Forden keeps control of the puck, goes to Bouthiet at the right point. Now back for Ford at the right circle. Now in the slot, trying to break in towards the goal, but dispossessed. And Larson will try to make the pass up. Kramer will intercept. Kramer on the left side into the zone. Drops off Bergman off the heel of his stick. Couldn't get a clean shot away. Long stretch pass, and it's picked up by Dill. Dill shoots, and a save by Matone. Just able to make the reactionary save. Now Falcons trying to change lines. Cookson will keep it alive. Finds Millette, takes the shot, blocked. Second chance for Cookson off the side of the net. Wilmshurst takes it to the left point. Shot through a lot of traffic. Never makes its way through. Now on the right side, another shot. Deflects wide. Wilmshurst with a shot. Mercer the save. Now the Vikings will pick it up, try to carry it out on the near side from Woolley. On the right now, it goes to Luke Day. Vikings just trying to answer back, a shot in front, trying to find the stick perhaps of Gretorix, but he wasn't able to settle it down. Gretorix in the left wing corner, and Millette will take it off his stick, but right into the stick of Day. And Halbig trying to get around the referee. Behind the net, Johansson pops up in the air. Vikings will take the time for a line change, get fresh legs on the ice. Millette making another rush up the left wing, puts a shot up. Mercer will glove it down high in the air and cover it for a draw. 1:51 gone in the third period. Fitchburg State 1, Salem State nothing.
Dan, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention at some point the fantastic assistance we've had tonight from Nathan Glennie and Travis Falk. Nathan has been running camera for us all night, doing a tremendous job. Travis has been here helping out on the technical side as well. Thanks, as always, to them for all the work they do for FATV.
Indeed, tremendous work. Proud to call them my comrades. Dumped into the Falcons zone. Antoine Gignac will get there first, move it along for Samuel Rennick. Rennick had that taken away. Shot through a lot of traffic from Raph Praisner. Goes nowhere near the net. Instead into the netting and out of play in the right wing corner. Praisner, sophomore from Allen, Texas, still looking for his first point on the campaign.
Can I put on my pedantic communist hat for a second?
All right.
Nate's your boss, not your comrade.
Still.
Colleague. There you go.
All right, that's better.
When you unionize, he's not in. Oh, no, I said the U word.
Moving on. 17:40 to go in the contest. 1-0 Fitchburg. As the puck pinned in the left wing corner. And Praisner pinning that Falcon in there, trying to win the puck. Eventually comes out right side for Archambault. Forces up ice, trying to find Rennick. And now here's Brendan Walk. Walk will take the shot, kicked away by Mercer. And the puck bounces out to the red line. Falcons will dump in. 95-footer from Christian Halbig is gloved down by Mercer as well. Vikings holding back in their own end from their captain, Matt Yanakopoulos. Yanakopoulos, a senior from Wakefield, played for the Islanders Hockey Club. Hayden Hughes with the shot. We said he had the goal the last time these two teams met in Salem. That was a 7-2 win for the Falcons. A lot different game. Shot through a lot of traffic. Never quite made its way through to Matone. Caught up in a labyrinth of legs and eventually cleared out to the red line. Or it's thrown back in by the Vikings. Matone will settle and leave. 16:38 to go. Third period, 1-0 Falcons. That was a very optimistic stretch pass trying to find Bergman. But it does find the stick instead of Luke Pepin. So we'll send it back towards the Falcon end. And after it's dumped in by Hughes, Vikings will get a new set of legs on the ice. Here's another stretch pass. Bergman gets the touch on the red line to nullify any icing. And Pepin will have to skate it down and pick it up right wing corner. Falcons will take the time to change some legs of their own as Antoine Gignac bounces it off the boards on the near side. Wanted to find Ford and found a Viking instead. Dumped in. More line changes, really for either side this time. Flip down the ice. Yanakopoulos will go in pursuit. 15:55 to go in the third and a 1-0 lead for the Falcons. Ricochets off the boards, hits a stick on the way, will not be icing. Gignac will have to retrieve that from behind his own net. Falcons try to clear, kept in the zone, and now bouncing around to the right side. Shot from the circle, stopped by Matone. Now loose in the slot. Yanakopoulos tried to get it, and a great chance for Salem, but it slips off the stick. Now Wilmshire's trying to skate it up ice. There's that transition play for the Falcons. That's where most of the offense has come from today. Oliver Cookson trying to center in front. Juan and Millette deep in the slot. Vikings getting in the way of that. On the near side, Connor Woolley up the left side circle. Bad angle shot. Matone has the stop, and he will cover up and batten down the hatches for a draw. 15:13 to go. Third period, 1-0 Falcons in front.
You heard a groan from the near side stands, Dan. These visiting fans from Salem State, they saw that opportunity. As you said, the puck just trickled off the stick. Otherwise, it was a wide open corner of the net and could have been an equalizing goal.
There have been a couple of good chances for Salem in this contest. Shot right off the draw there by Landon Gretorix, freshman from Reading. Wanted his second goal of the season, not happening there. Unofficially 25 saves for the senior Chris Matone today. And the Falcons continue to retain the 1-goal lead. Archambault trying to stick it along into the Vikings' end. Vikings put up the resistance, and here's Pepin on the left side. Pepin with a shot saved by Matone, trying to battle, get the rebound. It's pushed back towards Matone, and he's able to seal up that near side post and cover for another draw.
The deeper we get into this third period, Dan, I think it's going to be a real test of the Falcons. We've talked all game about how they're shorthanded. They only have so many skaters. They've had guys get hurt. They've had guys get sick. And now, the deeper we get into this game, the more tired these Falcons get. It's only going to be more and more advantageous for Salem State.
Against Plymouth State 2 nights ago, the Falcons had it tied 4-4 with 12 minutes to go before Plymouth was able to turn it on, get 2 goals and an empty netter. Here's a chance, a save by Mercer, pops out of his glove, pinballs around on the right side, and Pepin able to get control of it for the Vikings, and the Falcons will back off and try to get some fresher legs on the ice. Rennick intercepting that pass, and now thrown around the boards. Mercer settling it behind. He cleared up to the near side. Praisner will dump in right wing corner in pursuit. Gignac first to arrive, battling with David Seacack. 2 Vikings, 2 Falcons, going for the wraparound chance, saved by Matone! Just barely getting over in time, getting his right pad down, pinned against the post, and shuts down that wraparound chance. Icing against the Falcons with 14:01 to go in the third. They still lead by a 1-0.
Not even 6 minutes gone, and Chris Matone is standing on his head in net for Fitchburg State.
For Matone, he hasn't played since game number 2 this year. That was that conference opener against Plymouth State. He's been on the bench or in the stands the last 10 games. Makes another save there. He's gotten the opportunity to try to prove himself, the senior netminder. And he is standing tall.
Gave a lot of credit to the defense for the first 2 periods, but so far here in the third, it's been mostly Matone keeping this game even. I think the puck got caught up in Antoine Gignac's jersey.
Yeah, you can't really play hockey when the puck is stuck in someone's equipment.
Yeah, no, you can't have a puck in your shirt. That feels like cheating. That at least opens up so many possibilities for cheating that I understand why it's against the rules, full stop.
So now we've got that cleared away. Falcons will win the draw, and Gignac will send it around the boards. Forden with a touch on, but from beyond the red line, icing will bring it back down. 13:41 to go in the third, and a 1-0 lead for Fitchburg. Jeremy Millet's first as a Falcon, the only goal we've had in this contest, back at the 3:55 mark of the second. Only 3 penalties in this game as well. It's been relatively clean. Not to say there haven't been hits, but these 2 teams, they've been playing some strong hockey, and the referee's also content to let them play. Not going to call anything but the most egregious stuff. That's a style of hockey. It's perfectly fine. Yannikopoulos with a shot sticked away by Matone into the right wing corner. Erica Larson punched up against the boards. Puck squirts free to Christian Halbig. Halbig behind the net, battling with a Viking. Able to take control of it. Leave it off for Keegan O'Donoghue. Yannikopoulos wanted to take a shot through traffic, didn't find its way through. Yannikopoulos gets it back at the right point. Holds on for Skylar Miller. Now to the left circle, turnaround shot by O'Donoghue. May not have gone all the way through either. A lot of bodies in the way. Zach Dill, one of the dangerous players for the Vikings. 3 goals and an assist just 2 days ago against Framingham. Now in front, they score! Vikings will equalize with a shot deep in the slot. 7 minutes into the third. 1-1 the score. Zach Dill will lead the handshake line with his 8th goal of the season. The freshman from Lake Tahoe, California, breaks up the shutout.
Matone did everything he could, but Dill found the net wide open, finally took advantage of the opportunity. Salem State equalizes.
So a new hockey game for the Vikings. They make it a 1-1 contest. Now the Falcons will have to try to find themselves another goal. As Salem controls back in their own end, try to push it out of the ice from the red line, dumped in out of the reach of Mercer into the right wing corner. Jack Saavedra being around left wing corner, pinned up against there by Eamon Miller. On the far side, Day trying to nudge it along.
Assisted by number 13.
Fitchburg will knock it down from 2 minutes. Miller again to the boards. Halbig will try to settle the puck. And that's going to be offsides against the Falcons, as Tuminis thought he had tagged up, but he had missed the blue line as he was trying to circle back. And then an angry slash on the legs of Landon Gretorix for good measure.
Tuminis had very clearly missed the blue line. We saw it clear in front of us right here in the press box. He missed it by a good 2-3 feet. I'm a little surprised they didn't send him away for a couple of minutes for that thwack to Gretorix. But as you said, the officials have been content to just kind of let the guys play. That was more like just kind of let the guys whack each other with sticks, but it's hockey.
Some might have also found an argument for an intentional offside there, as he wasn't able to make it back there. But it's clear he thought he tagged up. Here's Walk into the zone. Not able to get a clean shot away. Comes out to Rennick at the right point. He throws it towards goal, and Mercer will glove it and take no chances.
Didn't really need to make that save, did Mercer. Shot was clearly going wide, but still a good idea. Get a face-off, catch your breath. Just under 12 minutes to go here in what is now a 1-1 game.
The draw will come to the left of Aaron Mercer, junior from Corner Brook, Newfoundland in Canada. Former Boston Bandit, looking for his second victory of the season. Dumped in the zone, and behind the net, Jack Johansson will retrieve for the Falcons. Pushed along, Samuel Rennick trying to get on his horse. Rennick from the left side, bad angle shot, goes through the paint, out the other side. Archambault will take it out of the zone. They'll go backwards to move forwards. Fitchburg will dump it in, goes off the stick of Yanakopoulos. They rule it high, and the faceoff's going to come to one side of Mercer.
That was a pretty high stick by Yanakopoulos. Was well above parallel with the ice, I would say.
So they'll bring the face-off to the left of the keeper, Mercer. His sixth start of the season, matching Hunter Thomas, a freshman from Pennsylvania. Also has 6 starts this year. Slightly better numbers, .434 goals against, .890 save percentage to Mercer's .501, .871. But Mercer had the victory on Thursday. Ride the hot hand. Wilmshurst with a shot. That's blocked. Second chance. Scrambling in front. Mosh pit in the paint. And it's under Mercer.
Fitchburg State has been playing from behind pretty much this entire period. But just like that, they're able to get 2 really good shots off.
Yep. At least that's how it's felt.
Both away.
Yep. And they'll bring the face-off out of the zone on all of that. O'Donohue to take the draw for the Vikings against Millette. Annoyances found with the wingers there on the near side in Cookson and Carlson. And Larson, I should say. The wrong Swedish name there. Falcons win the draw, bring it into the zone. Millette battling forward on the left wing boards. Cookson trying to win control of it in the left circle. Brought out to the near side. Larson stretching it up, trying to find Dill. Dill couldn't get a hold of it and blows a tire behind it for good measure. Cookson gets a touch on, not on the correct side of the red line, and it will go for icing. 11:01 to go in the third period. Fitchburg 1, Salem 1. Millette the goal scorer for the Falcons, Dill the goal scorer for the Vikings.
See Fitchburg changing personnel yet again, just trying to keep the freshest legs possible on the ice at all times.
Dill from Larson was that goal earlier. The 2 Lake Tahoe, California kids teaming up for that one. That shot deflected up and out of play. And we'll get another draw to one side of Matone.
It's got to be hard, Dan. You know, if you're Fitchburg State, obviously you take the opportunities that are given to you. But do you kind of play a little conservatively here, try to hang on to this and get to overtime? Or do you think if it goes to overtime, it doesn't favor us? We got to win this game in regulation.
It's even more important to win the game in regulation as that's sent up and out of play, because new rule in the MASCAC this year, a overtime win is not worth as much as a regulation win. You get 3 points for a regulation win, but only 2 for an overtime win. 3 points are on the line in every game this year in the MASCAC. And for a regulation win, 3 to the winner, none to the loser. For an overtime win, for an overtime game decided, 2 to the winner, 1 to the loser. For a game that's not decided, ends in a tie, it's a 1.5 to each team. I love how they put those standings in. Presto looks at that, it's like, no, we're not doing half points. Got to update the standings with a spreadsheet. Joe Gilbert has it back for the Falcons with 10:26 to go in the third period in a 1-1 hockey game. Falcons have already been to overtime twice in conference play this year. Both those games ended in a tie. Forden taking command of it. Decked a shot off on the backhand. Mercer able to shut the 5-hole. Forden will get it back. Toss around the boards. Bergman trying to center only orange shirts in front. Can't get it out of the zone. Bouthiet, a blast. Redirected wide. Bergman trying to get back on that one. Gretorix will get there first. Win control of the puck. Send it around to the near side for Connor Woolley. Puck will go back into the neutral zone. Fitchburg will take command again from Archambault. Pass out to the right side boards, but Falcons were changing lines, and the intended target was coming off the ice. Miscommunication there. Vikings have it in the attacking zone now. So shot goes wide and then hops away from the stick of Luke Pepin. Vikings will have to go back and retrieve from Woolley. 9:30 to go in the contest in a 1-1 game in regulation time at least. On the near side, Vikings trying to set up for a shot, looking through traffic. Get one away, goes wide. Puck continues to sail down the boards. Could be an odd man rush. It's going to go towards goal. And taking no chances, Mercer. And Reddick just puts his stick in the direction of the glove. An offense immediately taken by the Vikings.
Yeah, that was Raph Preisner, who was not at all happy with Samuel Reddick just kind of poking his stick in the general direction of the goalkeeper's glove.
Felt like those whistles were a bit preemptive, too, because they knew, this isn't going to be good.
Yeah, no, he's not happy with that, man. We need to break this up.
Yep. We'll keep everybody on the ice, though. Stay 5 aside. 9:10 to go in this third period in a 1-1 game. As the Vikings skated up ice on the far side. Bring it up there, David Seacack. And take it to the ice. Here comes a penalty.
Take a bad situation for Fitchburg State and make it worse. You're already a little shorthanded in terms of roster size. Now you're going to be shorthanded in terms of men on the ice, it seems.
The penalty's against Salem.
I thought that was against Fitchburg. No, it is indeed. It is against the Vikings.
I was thinking so, too. I had looked down at the absolute worst time, and I thought I saw Seacack go to the ice, but the hold was something he was guilty of. Seacack will go to the box for the 5th time this season. And a misconduct has been assessed to the captain, Yanakopoulos.
He's not happy with it.
That means he's not going to take part in the rest of this period. He has to sit for 10 minutes.
That seems harsh. What did he say?
Some magic words that you should not ever say to a hockey referee. And so the captain, who is Cross, will sit in the bin for 10. But it won't change the fact the Falcons are on the power play for the 3rd time today. 0 for 2 and a great opportunity for them to try to punish the Vikings. As here comes Kramer with the shot off a Viking blade and out of play. And Yanakopoulos, he's a captain. He's one of those strong defenders for the Vikings. That's a player you really don't want to be out of the game for 10 minutes.
No, you don't want that guy to be in the box, period. You certainly don't want him to be in there when you have to kill off a penalty.
Less than ideal for Salem. Falcons win the draw to the point. Gignac, now Forden, left circle. Forden trying to find a shooting lane, get to the stick of Wilmshurst, couldn't get the shot away. And now a one-on-one developing. Dill gets the shot. It's a bit wide, but really the goal was just to kill some time and put some pressure on Fitchburg. And he'll do just that. Zach Dill is going to be a dangerous player for the Vikings for years to come. I can already tell. 8:10 to go in the period, 1:10 to go on the power play. Can't stay in the zone. Falcons have to avoid the puck as it comes back in because they have to tag up. And the Vikings will get a few free seconds to kill away. That's dumped in towards goal. Matone will settle it down for Antoine Gignac. Graduate student from Quebec City. Push it up ice, but it will be taken by Christopher Dowd. Dowd rubbed into the boards by Archambault. Falcons will take control of the puck, but again, that's more time off the power play. Now 40 seconds to work with 7:35 to go in the third. 1-1 between Fitchburg and Salem. Here's Forden into the zone. Forden trying to bring it all the way in. Can't get a pass off. See Cookson trying to call for it on the right wing. Just not really an opportunity for Forden to get the puck away. He still has it. Try to find Archambault. Can't play it cleanly in the right wing corner. Vikings will clear it. Christian Halbig looks to the sky in frustration as he sees the puck come out and he has to go chase it. 10 seconds to go on the power play. As now bringing it up, here's Walk on the right side. Gets the bad angle shot off. Skylar Miller gets a stick in the way, blocks that down. And out of the box comes Seacak, and back to full strength. And there is David Seacak with the shot, but that ricochets wide. Falcons trying to develop a 2-on-1. Archambault to the goal! He shoots and scores! Cole Archambault with his 4th of the season. Another Leominster native strikes for the Falcons, and they lead 2-1.
Both of Fitchburg's goals, Dan, have come right at the end of power plays, right at the transition point, right when it looks like Salem State is going to capitalize. Here come the Falcons. This time it's Archambault taking it along the far side, putting it in the back of the net, and restoring the Falcons to the lead.
4th goal of the season for Cole Archambault, the junior biology major, restores the lead for the Falcons. And right at the end of a power play, too. The first goal came right at the end of a penalty kill. This one at the end of a power play, which we thought was going to be a penalty kill. Guess that's part of the key there.
And all of this with Yannikopoulos not on the ice.
There's a great shot. Taken by Skylar Miller. He wanted his first of the season. But that one will deflect wide and out of play. 6:15 to go in the third. 2-1 Falcons. The draw comes to the left of Chris Matone. Archambault, as it currently stands, an unassisted goal. And the Vikings want to retort. Another shot deflects out of play.
And now, Dan, these Falcons got to be on tired legs. They're shorthanded. We've talked about it all night. It's been a major factor in this 3-game losing streak for them. They try to snap that here tonight if they can hold on to this 2-1 lead.
Indeed, draw one by the Vikings. Moldusky's shot is knocked down in front. Kept in the zone by the Vikings, who've done so well to control the offensive zone tonight. As we mentioned, it's taken transition plays for the Falcons to score. Setting up in the offensive zone has just not been so much a thing. The shot was gloved down by Matone. He could not control it, but the Falcons able to get on top of it and get the puck out of danger, out to center. Here's Saavedra, who dumps it in high in the air. A can of corn that really wasn't. And Mercer had to watch how that puck was going to bounce all the way.
Now, that was less a can of corn than one of those, pop-ups just behind the second baseman where he's got to turn around and look for it, and you just hold your heart in your throat.
I know, put my goaltender mask on for a moment. That's the type of puck that would scare me because I don't know where that's going to land. And if that's going to land in front of me, where is that going to bounce?
Yeah, you're looking right up at it. You're looking up into the lights, trying to find the puck, trying to watch it as it bounces in. That's the kind of situation where you lead to some long, ugly-looking goals if you're a goaltender.
5:24 to go in the third. 2-1 Falcons in front. Millette and Archambault have the goals for Fitchburg State. Dill has the goal for the Vikings. Shot taken from the left side boards is gloved by Matone. No further play. According to the live stats, shots are 35-26 in favor of the Falcons. Matone playing in his first game in a little over 2 months. And he's played strong in net today.
He's done a tremendous job.
Yeah. He's done what he's needed to do. The senior from New Windsor, New York, he's relishing every moment he gets in the net. He's been with this Falcon team for so long, but this is just his 11th career appearance. He knows every chance he gets is a chance he has to savor and a chance he has to take advantage of because he doesn't know when the next one's going to come. Here's Gordon streaking into the zone, gets the shot off, stopped by Mercer. And Mercer's had one of his best games tonight as well. He's got 34 saves in this contest. But his team trails 2-1. O'Donohue tries to center in front, finds a Falcon stick instead. Here's the transition play that they've been doing so much. It's Toivo Kramer into the zone. Kramer trying to take it right to the goal, trying to get it in on that near side post. Not a lot of room there. Mercer able to shut the door and a couple of whacks for good measure, trying to bother him that close.
See more gesticulating from Salem State. This time it's Zach Dill. I think we're actually going to get a cross-check called. It's going to be Dill going to the penalty box.
He's not very pleased about that. Dill picks up penalty minutes number 19 and 20. That's one of the more dangerous players for the Vikings going off. And I wonder if he's just gone and said things he shouldn't be saying. Because he's going to come out of the penalty box. And he's going to be sent to the locker room. And I think he's going to have a couple words with Chris Matone as he comes off, it feels. But that's probably the end of the night for Zach Dill. He probably picked up a misconduct, which will take him out for the rest of the game. He'll join Matt Yanakopoulos there in front of the Viking locker room.
Kevin Coyle will be sent to the box to serve the penalty for Salem State.
From bad to worse for the Vikings, two of their best players are sitting off the ice and not eligible to play for the remainder of this period. And in Dill's case, for the remainder of this game, as we have a timeout with 4:31 to go in the game. Fitchburg State 2, Salem State 1.
With the absence of Yanakopoulos and now especially without Dill, would it be fair to say that Salem State is in a pickle?
They are.
Okay. Might or might not have been sitting on that one all game.
You have a moment to use it, you might as well.
Listen, you only get to see these teams so often. I'm sure I'm the first person in all of Zach Dill's life to make that particular joke. I'm known for my creative highbrow humor, after all.
Have a look ahead at what these two teams have coming ahead on the schedule. For the Falcons, they played Tufts at the Codfish Bowl at UMass Boston. Lost that one 6-0, and next time out, they'll be playing Tufts again, this time a game they deliberately scheduled against the Jumbos. 6:30 start here from the Civic Center on Tuesday the 10th, or they're back into conference play on the 12th at Framingham State. The Vikings will be playing the Rams of Suffolk on Tuesday the 10th at home at the Rocket Arena before they return to conference play on the 14th, hosting the Owls of Westfield State.
Nice little homestand for Salem State. They get 3 straight games at home coming up.
This is only the Falcons' 5th home game of the season. It is a backloaded home schedule, more or less. And this is the halfway point of the season for both teams. Game number 13, how lucky that might sound, in a 25-game slate. Here's Cookson, gets a shot off, gloved by Mercer. He'll hold for a draw with 250 ticks of the clock to go in regulation time. The Falcons lead 2-1.
Okay, so explain to me why this point change happened.
Part of the reason is because a couple of years ago, the NCAA made it so overtime has to be 3-on-3. You don't get an option in that regard. Okay. And many feel that you shouldn't really be giving 2 points. There probably should be some consolation points given in circumstances with 3-on-3 hockey because it's a little gimmicky. Changing the rules of the game as Wilmshurst shoots and scores! On the one-timer, on the power play, Wyatt Wilmshurst! 3-1 Falcons!
Aaron Mercer has had a tremendous night in goal, Dan, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but he is going to be replaying that goal for a long time. Wilmshurst got the one-timer off. It was a good shot. It was not the hardest shot in the world, and it went right through the legs of the Salem goaltender.
Mercer just not able to get down quickly enough. And the senior from Messina, New York, Wyatt Wilmshurst, the economics major with his 5th goal of the season, gives the Falcons a big insurance marker on the power play. It's 3-1. Just that indiscipline by the Vikings, losing their two of their best players, really, to just indiscipline, saying things they should not be saying. And they have to stand there in front of their locker room with the Wachusett Mountaineers as their backdrop, just watching the end of this game. I mean, regretting perhaps the actions that they have made that have put their side in this spot.
It was 1-1, and then those guys went away. And now it's 3-1. Correlation is not always causation, but they've got to be feeling bad right about now.
Indeed they are. Halbig will hold it down at the red line, dump it in. 3 minutes to go in regulation time. 3-1 Falcons. Wilmshurst from Forden and Kramer's the goal at 15:56. Just a shade under 2.5 minutes after Cole Archambault, unassisted, gave the Falcons the lead. And the Vikings goal scorer, Dill, he's not playing anymore this game as a shot whistles wide off the stick of Kramer. Clock will keep running down. 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in a 3-1 game.
Got to think Mercer's going to be looking to his bench. He looks back at the clock. We get a whistle here at 2:22.
Now, as it turns out, me and Nate attended the Worcester Railers game last night.
Independently of one another.
Indeed we had. And Worcester led 4-2 late. Reading pulled for the extra attacker, got a goal, pulled for the extra attacker, got another goal, and then won the game in 3-on-3 overtime. Salem, I think, would like to do a fair impersonation of Reading. I mean, the antagonist has already won once in Worcester County, I guess, in the last 24 hours. And I think the Vikings would like to pen the sequel. Mercer remains in the cage as the clock ticks down to 2 minutes. Puck is still pinned against the boards. Perhaps they're not really comfortable. 5 players trying to dig it on the right side half boards. It never comes free. And finally the officials feel that puck's never going to move. They'll blow the play dead. And players exchanging dinner reservations after the what for. The whole congregation there. You'll enjoy spending so much time together,
I think Raf Praisner might have a bit of a medical situation because he's got something on his hand that he thought one of the Fitchburg State students could maybe investigate. He just kind of put his hand right up in the guy's face and kind of shoved. You can't really do that. Skylar Miller is going to be sent to the box for some other horrible misconduct that he committed.
Yeah, the officials are going to have to discuss this because at the end of the day, they've determined it's 2 Vikings doing the bad things in the mosh pit against the boards compared to no Falcons doing bad things against the boards. Hunter Forden there as a captain talking there, an alternate captain, Luke Pepin, representing the Vikings there, having a discussion with referee McManus. Not too pleased on how that's all accrued. They put a penalty on the board against Praisner. 2 minutes for what sounds like contact to the head based on how you've described it. And since
is that the hockey term for pie-facing a guy? Because he pie-faced a guy. That's what happened.
If you're actually putting a grip on the face mask, they would tell you generally to get off the ice and go away. Based on Miller not having a penalty on the board, it looks like he's picked up the Vikings' 3rd misconduct of the night. Don't pick up 3 misconducts in a game.
It's good advice.
18.
Bergman not able to send that one towards goal. A good shot by Wilmshurst, though, to set up the chance there. One more power play for the Falcons. Assuming no further shenanigans, the game will end on the Falcon power play, or with a 4th Falcon goal. Take your pick. Could be a lot more happening. Another shot there from the left side by Forden, turned aside by Mercer. The Falcons really now finally getting these opportunities where they can, in fact, set up in the zone. Another shot off there, gloved away by Mercer. 70 seconds to go in the game and a 3-1 lead. And for the Falcons, it's just controlling the puck, really. That's the most important thing to do. It's not like you need more goals, but what you would like to do is just make sure the Vikings don't have any more chances. Especially they're the ones now playing shorthanded and then some. There's another shot stopped, loose in the paint. And hey, with the number of misconducts in this game, these two teams now have 16 skaters at their disposal. Wilmshurst with another shot. It's a shooting gallery in the final minutes for the Falcons. Kramer on the right side. Now for Bergman, held up against the boards. The two teams definitely getting cross with each other here in the dying seconds. Salem probably feeling like this is a game they very well could have stolen away.
This is a game Salem could have won, and they have just totally fumbled the bag.
Indiscipline and poor usage of words is what's going to cost the Vikings here tonight. Walk brings it in with 10 seconds to go in the contest into the right wing corner. Dug out there. Vikings just trying to manufacture one more chance, just get it out of the zone. Falcons will run out the clock and take a 3-1 victory.
For Fitchburg State, Dan, it's a win they sorely needed. They had lost their last 3 coming into this one. They took advantage of the opportunities. They took advantage of the gifted chances that Salem State gave them in the back half of the third period. For the Vikings, it's been a frustrating season, and this might be the most frustrating game of all.
Of the losses, you have to feel like they knew they could have had this one. It was 1-1. They felt like they were taking command of this game. And then we saw what we thought might be a penalty. Maybe Salem was going on the power play. No, it was David Seacack who was called for the penalty. Matt Giannakopoulos said something he shouldn't have said. And from that, and not long after that, the wheels began to fall off for the Vikings.
It all fell apart from there, and they just could not recover. They didn't have the discipline, as you said. They didn't have the, I don't want to say mental fortitude, but I can't think of a synonym, so F it. They didn't have the mental fortitude to rebound from that from the penalty, from going down 2-1, and it just continued unraveling, continued imploding, winds up a 3-1 game for Fitchburg, and if they had played another 10 minutes, it could have been 7-1. The Falcons were dominant for the back half of the third period.
Yep. Really, as the game went on, really as the indiscipline continued to mount for the Vikings, the Falcons were able to take control, get that winning goal in transition from Cole Archambault, get that power play strike from Wyatt Wilmshurst, and they come away well-deserved winners in the end. 3-1 the final. The Falcons are back above 500 at 6-5-2, 4-2-2 in the MASCAC. The Vikings fall to 3-10 and will continue to toil in last place in the MASCAC at 1-7.
So we mentioned it once, but we'll give you a reminder. Fitchburg State's next game will be this coming Tuesday, a 6:30 start against Tufts. They'll be back here at the Wallace Civic Center next Saturday, January 14th, against UMass Dartmouth. That's a 4 o'clock puck drop. Salem State at least gets to go home for 3 straight. They get Suffolk, Westfield State, and UMass Dartmouth.
And it feels like their schedule may be a bit backloaded in terms of home games as well, because coming up they've got 8 home games to just 4 road games. So that seems to work out fairly well there for the Vikings. A lot of home cooking at Rocket Arena to come, and maybe that will be what they'll need to get their season back in order. And for the Falcons, they can say a lot of the same thing too, as they've got themselves 7 home games and then 5 more road games. Again, it definitely favors home over road, at least going down the stretch.
And that's what you want, right? You know, obviously you'd rather win all of those road games at the beginning of the season, but you want those home games at the end of the year when you know what the conference standings look like, you know what you've got to do. Fitchburg State, they've got a bit of a road to go. They're in third place in the conference, 3-2-2 in the MASCAC, looking up at Worcester State and Plymouth State. But hey, you know, someone's going to beat Plymouth eventually, maybe, right?
And after all, top 2 teams get buys, again, as it should be this year. Last year they changed it to just the top team because COVID, but it should be back to how it normally is. Just get into second place, and Fitchburg's already beaten Worcester once, rather handedly, 5-1 at their place. And so there's still 2 more meetings between the Falcons and the Lancers to come. It's like there's still a lot of conference hockey to be played. It's now 7-8 games for the teams, but there's still about 10 games left for these 2 sides. Still a lot of hockey to be played, but still for the first home game of 2023, glad to be back here at the Civic Center.
Absolutely fantastic to be here at the Civic Center. Glad to be back on FATV with you, Dan. We want to send our thanks once again to Nate Glennie, who ran camera for us all night. Travis Falk came in with some emergency technical support as well. Dan, your final thoughts before we say goodbye here from the Wallace Civic Center.
Falcons fighting through the adversity this week, down several bodies due to injuries, due to illness, and on Thursday they tried to persevere 4-4 late against Plymouth State before it fell apart for them there against a very strong Plymouth State team that's number 6 in the pairwise right now. That's good. It is, in fact, good. And against Salem, trying to hold on, trying to weather the storm, and they took advantage of the opportunities given to them once Salem started to fall apart. Once they started to falter, the Falcons struck, and from there they were able to come away with a much-needed victory.
Final score for the final time, 3-1, Fitchburg State victorious over Salem State. For Nate Glennie, Travis Falk, and Dan Bullock, and the entire FATV family, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time right here on FATV.